From frustrated world champions firing back at their critics via bold new merch, to Twitter providing the platform for many a brassed-off all-elite talent to blast on-screen developments and a lack of attention in general. Each and every one of these gifted workers clearly feel there's room for improvement in TK's world, and weren't exactly shy about letting their true feelings be known. Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 AEW wrestlers who told you they were pissed. Number 10, Ricky Starks isn't happy with some former WWE arrivals. There's no questioning the fact that Tony Khan has a performer he could quite realistically shape his company around in the bottomless pit of charisma that is Ricky Starks. Yet with the emergence of many a former WWE talent in the time since Absolute arrived on the scene in June 2020, the undeniably over-force of nature has sometimes seen himself being slightly overshadowed. And it's clear from Starks' response to a question regarding these never-ending one-time WWE arrivals during an interview with Wrestling Inc. that the former FTW champion isn't entirely happy with the way some newly all-elite stars have conducted themselves upon making their presence known. As the one-time Team Taz star put it, these people who come in and the attitude of a higher than, and we are less than, you get what I'm saying? I think it should be noted that there's a reason those people don't work there anymore. And we should look at the facts why. Tell us how you really feel, Ricky. Number 9, Eddie Kingston can't hide his frustration. Eddie Kingston's apparent final chapter with Chris Jericho at Dynamite Fyter Fest Week 2 produced the sort of overstuffed sports entertainment conclusion that was always destined to thoroughly brass off large portions of the all-elite fanbase. And the Mad King himself, frequently taking aim at the all-round nonsense associated with typical entertainment-centric wrestling, the shenanigans-stuffed last stretch of his barbed wire everywhere grudge match with Le Champion clearly irked Kingston on the night, if his face as the show went off the air was anything to go by. On the back of Kingston and Jericho's many allies colliding around the ring, Sammy Guevara being heavily involved in the finish that saw him lose, a bout of miscommunication leading to a botched post-match back fist from Eddie, and a wholly disappointing climactic wizard bump on a barbed wire canvas, the no-nonsense star's genuinely dejected look as he sat on the apron mirrored how much of the fandom felt in the wake of this damp squib of a finale. Number 8, Darby Allin reminds you the AEW originals cannot be touched. Jumping back to the frequent source of frustration that is the influx of one-time WWE talent, Full Gear 2021 came jam-packed with a ton of pay-per-view time dedicated to those former rival competitors. And while a ton of headlines were stolen by the likes of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin was quick to remind fans recently that 2 of AEW's 4 pillars put on the match of the night/year in their show opening war. Speaking to that hashtag show at the recent San Diego Comic-Con, Allin would note how even with the constant stream of new guys coming in, his showdown with MJF served to remind the fans that the AEW originals ain't nobody gonna touch us. And while Allin would also confess to loving the idea of competing for the top spots with the very best in the business, his additional words of nobody being able to outshine him in a big match situation, due to a lot of stars liking to play it a little safe, once again highlight how the Daredevil seems to be sporting something of a chip on his shoulder as of late, and one that could see him go to even balmier extremes going forward. Number 7, numerous names take to Twitter over a lack of TV time. A number of fed-up all-elite names have each taken to the social media platform that is Twitter to subtly or even openly state their dissatisfaction with their lack of AEW screen time as of late, with Ethan Page being perhaps the most vocal talent of the bunch. His brassed-off tweet of, "Hey look, Ethan Page actually gets TV time this week. Nice change of pace at work if you ask me," swiftly followed by "Can't wait to do this again in 5 weeks," however, seemingly set the stage for him using his annoyance in a recent Dynamite promo, as he edges towards an alliance with Stokely Hathaway. The likes of Sonny Kiss and Brian Cage haven't been quite as lucky though, with the latter underutilized Titan's Twitter words of "what's heartbreaking is doing what you love but not doing what you love" being met by the former's response of "sure is." And while Kiss would at least make her way onto Rampage in recent times, Cage hasn't seen all elite TV time outside of Dark Elevation and Ring of Honor showings for an age. Number 6, MJF hints at his upcoming pipe bomb. While many were understandably quick to declare that MJF's jaw-dropping June 1st pipe bomb on Dynamite was little more than an elaborate work, A number of breadcrumbs the unfiltered salt of the earth had dropped in the lead up to said moment seemed to suggest that a pissed off Maxwell's decision to no-show a FanFest event on Double or Nothing weekend had been a long time coming. An appearance on Barstool's wrestling show in May saw Friedman admit his frustration at ex-effing WWE guys, all making an absurd amount of money, despite the star claiming they can't sniff my effing jock when it comes to the ratings I pull in whenever I am on screen. Elsewhere, the hot property was also happy to name drop his old pal Cody Rhodes, further allude to what he branded the bidding war of 2024 when his deal with AEW runs out, and the fact his boss Tony Khan didn't want to discuss his real-life contract situation on Dynamite during his kayfabe contract signing with Wardlow around this time too. MJF definitely knows his worth, and these hints only add further fuel to the idea of his aforementioned June bombshell actually being closer to the truth than many may think. Number 5. Kip Sabian is underrated and he's over it. Of the many stars fans are quick to celebrate as being the future of All Elite Wrestling, a name who often goes overlooked in such conversations seems to be entirely over being underrated. With one-time ever-present AEW pain in the ass Kip Sabian not being present on the likes of Dynamite and Rampage for over a year, on the back of being storyline injured by old pal Miro in April 2021, the British heel began popping up at various independent shows and dark tapings, all while sporting a cardboard box on his head with the words underrated over it slapped on the front. Said new gimmick appears to be a direct nod at the fact Sabian is viewed by some, and seemingly himself, as a forgotten pillar, with the routinely disregarded sensation actually picking up the first ever singles win in AEW history in a bout with official pillar Sammy Guevara at Double or Nothing 2019. Whether you agree with Sabian's belief that he deserves to be as celebrated as the likes of Jungle Boy and MJF or not, it looks like this boxed Brit could be on the verge of making an all-elite splash once again as he now sets his sights on PAC's All-Atlantic strap. Number 4. FDR Shoots on the rankings. The presence of rankings within the all-elite environment definitely helps add some credibility to the various challenges facing down whoever is holding on to AEW gold at that moment in time, with stars often being forced to pick up a series of victories before being considered as genuine contenders. Only that isn't always strictly the case, is it? As evidenced in the fact that FDR are still yet to compete for the company's World Tag Team Championships in recent times, despite sitting atop the promotion's tag rankings for what feels like a lifetime. And though the undeniable 7-star unit have managed to get their mitts on just about every other strap at this current moment, that still didn't stop Dax Harwood from taking a shot at TK's rankings in the lead up to the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express versus the Hardys, before they were pulled of course, ladder match over the straps at the latest Road Rager. And in a recent chat with Webber's Jericho, Cash Wheeler would also further hammer home the duo's frustration at the flawed system, noting how he would love to work with Swerve and Lee at some point, but we're number 1 contenders, so that probably can't happen. When we drop down from there, maybe we'll cash in. Number 3. Miro likes that he had it better in WWE. After finally making his long-awaited return to the land of All Elite in June, it's safe to say that the subsequent usage of God's favorite champion has been a little bit underwhelming post Johnny Elite dominating. Sure, a typically explosive showing at Forbidden Door in his bid to become the inaugural All-Atlantic champion was fun while it lasted, but ever since that failure to pick up another piece of gold, Miro has largely been little more than a side character in Darby Allin and Sting's back and forths with the House of Black. And clearly sensing he's not being used to his full potential right now, the one-time Rusev caught the attention of many a curious fan recently by liking a tweet stating, "Are you still in AEW? Seems you had it better in WWE." The fact said like and reply came on the back of the Redeemer's own comment of who's this guy that is fighting for the title, directed at Jon Moxley's recent bout with Mance Warner, also alludes to Miro being entirely miffed by his booking at this exact moment. Number 2. Thunder Rosa fires back with a sandbagging shirt. With Thunder Rosa reportedly not being happy about her lack of TV time a few months ago, said general frustrations then appeared to manifest themselves in what looked like the Women's World Champion sandbagging her opponent Marina Shafir in a match on June 8th Dynamite. And while the top star would dismiss the allegations later down the road, the fact on-screen rival Britt Baker and Shafir both liked a tweet from former Ring of Honor star Eric Stevens, seemingly claiming La Mera Mera was trying to make herself look better than her opponent by sandbagging and no-selling, seemed to hint at this being more than merely a work. Going further, Baker would even drop a literal sandbag during a promo exchange with her longtime rival, only for Rosa to follow up that dig with her own sandbagging since 2014 2014 t-shirt as a way of owning and profiting from this frequent criticism of her work. While there's every chance Baker in particular is simply fanning the real-life flames to add some extra drama to her never-ending war with the champ, Rosa has cut a brassed-off figure for months, and this shirt is merely acting as the latest middle finger to her critics. Number 1, the Young Bucks bio is the gift that keeps on giving. Frequently peeling back the curtains somewhat and seemingly venting some very much sincere frustrations via their Twitter account's now legendary bio, the Young Bucks have taken aim at everything from New Japan Pro Wrestling's reluctance to play ball with AEW early on, to the rest of the industry's tag team units claiming to be on their level. Newsflash, they're not. However, perhaps the most blatant shoot bio to date came in the form of the Bucks appearing to fire back at one-time Elite pal and fellow AEW founder Cody Rhodes, on the back of the American Nightmare opting to return to WWE this year. And while the former AEW World Tag Team Champions were quick to claim that their notable bio response to Cody's "wrestling is a love story" statement was actually dedicated to cynical wrestling fans who've always discredited them and shaped a narrative early on that they weren't important to the launch of AEW, that still doesn't change the fact that these EVPs aren't exactly shy about letting it all hang out underneath their profile picture. And that's our list. Know of any other AEW wrestlers who told you they were pissed? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, if you like this kind of thing, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you as always for clicking on this video today. I hope to see you very, very soon, but in the meantime, be good to yourself. Bye bye.